our speaker. Today's speaker is Maureen G. Mulvaney, better known as MGM. Yes, like the casino in Vegas. Okay, her presentation, The Magic Kingdom, the school cafeteria, 5-star customer service for kids, will be like eating a huge piece of double fudge chocolate cake without the calories. Yeah. All right, MGM will shake her pom-poms as she helps us why school nutrition is the most important department in the school system. I agree. MGM is the #1 rated school nutrition speaker and is counted among the top 10% of speakers worldwide. Okay, so we have a real celebrity here. Who has attained the prestigious designation CSP, Certified Speaking Professional. MGM is an author of the Amazon best-selling book, The Woman's Millionaire Club. MGM's other books include Any Kid Can Be a Superstar, Chicken Soup for the Teacher's Soul, Mission Possible, and Stinky David. Popular books to give you power in your life. I can't wait to read some of those. Let's give a warm welcome to MGM, better known, our Maureen G. Mulvaney, better known as MGM.
Yay! Shake your towels. Woohoo! Can y'all hear me okay? Thumbs up. Can you hear me? Good, good. Listen, I am so excited. I could hardly sit there this morning. I learned so much from those interviews. That thing about cleaning. Oh my gosh, that was the best one. And yours, Carla, was fantastic. Love that. So give it up. Those were great, great things. Come on, turn it loose for those. And if I'm in person, before COVID, I would be there in person. I would have gotten to know every single one of your names. I would have hugged you. I would have kissed you. And I would have said, thank you. Thank you for your service. So since I can't be there, come on, feel that hug around you. Know that I'm telling you, I love you. I love you, love you, love you. You did a great job. And the first shout out of the day goes to Angel for making all this happen. So turn it loose for Angel. Good job, Angel. Good job. Getting all this technology to work. So before I get started, I want to tell you a little story. I was a teacher for many, many, many years. And like y'all, I worked in a very poor, and I do mean poor. I come from the South, and so I came from a very poor situation in Maryland. And the place was called Port Tobacco. That should give you some indication. And that's what they did. They were tobacco farmers. Most of the kids were sharecroppers, came from sharecropping family. So there was virtually no money, and we got to feed all the kids like y'all do. But each year I did different things. That last year, it was the first day of school like this, and I was so excited. I'm always so excited to go back to school. And so I had a special education class. There were 12 students in my classroom. Unbelievably, every single one of those kids came in. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They came in, they said, hello, Miss Mulvaney. They sat down, they looked at their papers. They were so excited, all 11. And then came David. And David came into that room, and he went up to every single kid in the room, and he said, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. He hit every single kid in the room. Then he comes up to me and he said, Miss Mulvaney, I hate you, I hate this class, and I hate this school. Well, I don't know about y'all, but if a kid had come up to y'all doing that, most people would have sent him right on down to the office. But I know, and you need to hear this, hear me clearly on this. We need to understand that when people get scared, when people get hurt, they almost always get angry. So when you get angry, 9 times out of 10, you're either scared or you're hurt. And when children get angry like that, they're sometimes being picked on. And there's only 2 things they can do. They can either fight back or they get smaller and smaller and smaller. David was fighting back, so he was easy to figure out. But the kids that get smaller and smaller and smaller, that's the hardest ones. So David was really, really hurting, and I knew it. So rather than send him to the principal's office, I knew I had to find out what was causing this kid so much trouble. Was it either at school or was it something that was happening at home? So the next day, instead of taking action that day, I waited. And the next day I went out to the buses and I waited for those school buses to come in. And I looked and I saw what was happening to David. And the very first thing, he goes to get off the bus, and the bus driver said, David, I said, bend over and tie them shoes. He gets yelled at before he even puts his feet on the concrete to our school system. Now listen to me carefully. The first touch of the day, meaning the first experience you have of the day, sets you off in a positive mood, or it sets you off in a negative mood. So the first touch of the day that David had was negative. Then he jumped off the bus and he's racing because he wants to get to the school cafeteria because he wants that free breakfast. But anyway, he has to go through 3 teachers that are on bus duty. Every single one of those teachers said, David, I said, cut it out. David, I said, you stop that. David, don't act like that. And I'm going to send you to the principal's office. He's now been yelled at 4 times, and he hasn't even opened the door to the school. This is outrageous. Then he does what he always does. This kid is hungry. He's not just hungry. He's hungry. He's hungry. He's hungry. He's hungry. So he wants to race down to that breakfast, and he gets it. He's slamming that food in his mouth before he even gets down the line. The 3 lunch ladies said, David, we told you so many times before, don't be a little pig. Sit down before you start eating. He doesn't care because he's hungry. He could care less. And then he does what he normally does. He touches the tray in front of him, and he touches the tray in back of him. Both kids say, Stinky David touched my tray. I'm not eating that. And David is thrilled because now he's got 3 trays of food and he is set. This is he's happy as a little camper. So he could care less what anybody said. He then does what we do in the morning at our school, that school, and they got to go out for morning recess if they finish. So David had finished 3 trays, so he was ready for recess. And I watched as he went through that hall. Every single kid said to him something like, Stinky David, I hate you, Stinky David. And they kept saying this to him. He gets outside, and listen to me carefully. Kids, when they get to use their big muscles and throw themselves around, they let go of a lot of upset and frustration. Have you ever had one of your own children throw a temper tantrum and they're throwing themselves all around and they're mad because they just did something you didn't like? And then 10 minutes later, they come up to you, it's all gone, and they say, Mommy, I love you. I mean, we've all seen it. I wish we adults could do this, throw ourselves about, because it lets all that energy get out of you. So he's out there ready to throw himself about and run and jump and do what he needs to do, when sure enough, 10 kids gather around him and they put him in a circle. And they say, Stinky David, you smell like a skunk. He's had enough. He's had enough. He rears back, ready to take one of them out, when sure enough, the PE teacher comes over and says, David, I said, get up against that wall. He is so angry. He starts kicking that wall. He's punching back in the wall, and he comes down to my room and he sits down. And before he sits down, he hits every kid in the room. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. He comes right up to me again and he said, I hate you, Miss Mulvaney. I hate this class and I hate this school. Well, I don't know about y'all, but if somebody had treated me that badly in that short a period of time, I'd hate you too. I'd just plain hate you. So I was dumbfounded. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I could not figure out why they kept calling this kid Stinky David. So I thought, you know what we do? I waited till lunchtime after I went down and picked up my fabulous lunch down the cafeteria because I love y'all. And so anyway, what I did was I went into the teacher's lounge and I said, hey, has anybody in class ever had David? And they all looked at me with shock on their face. And they said, do you mean Stinky David? I said, why are y'all calling him that? That's horrible. And they said to me, Miss Mulvaney, what is wrong with you? That kid stinks so bad. We have put him out in the hall. We put him in the bathroom. He just stinks. Can't you smell him? He's had 7 brothers and sisters that have come through this school, and they've all had the same problem. Can't you smell him? And I said, no, I can't. I have very bad sinus challenges and I am allergic to everything. So I can't smell. I don't smell very good. And they said, wow, my gosh, those parents are rotten to the core. They don't like their children. They don't feed them. They don't dress them. They come to school in such disarray. They're always dirty. They're always stinky. And I was appalled. I just looked at these, and we've sent note after note home to these parents telling them they better get their act together and all of this stuff. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe it's the parents that's causing this. So I think to myself, okay, I've got to do something because I can't teach a kid that's hungry. I can't teach a kid that's dirty. And I certainly can't teach a kid that's being picked on every day. So I said, well, I'm going to drive on out to their house. These teachers looked at me and said, are you stupid? You can't go out there. You're not a social worker. You can't change things. And I said, well, I'm going anyway. And so I went back to my classroom. I said, David, would you be so kind as to tell your daddy and your mama I'm going to be out there tomorrow afternoon? He said, Miss Mulvaney, you come out to my house. Them dogs will chew them chicken legs of yours right on off. And because I was skinny back then, I was only a size 3. And so don't you know, I was dumbfounded. I thought to myself, I've got to talk to these parents and I've got to let them know what they're doing or not doing is not working. So tobacco country, I don't know, y'all from California, so you don't probably know about tobacco country, but tobacco country is different. There's virtually no roads. It's all, you wander through these paths. They're more like a path. And the tobacco barns are like all the slats, most of the slats are out because they want the tobacco to cure. So, and it's always leaning to one side. And so I kept driving and I couldn't find this house. And finally I pulled over and I said, babe, sir, can you help me? And he said, yes, ma'am. You just keep going until you get down the end of this little pathway and you'll hear them dogs. And I thought, oh Lord. Well, I'll tell you what, this experience changed my life. I get down to the end of that path and here was a house. And I'm telling you, it looked more like a tobacco barn than it looked like a house. The slats were out of it. It was crooked. His grandmama was standing in the doorway and she was kind of leaning with the house. The mama had just been released from a mental institute and they were afraid she would hurt herself or one of the children, and they put her in a locked car over on their side. All 8 of the children were sitting on the front veranda, just as pretty as you please, just as so well behaved. I'd never seen them behave like that, never. And the daddy had on a brand new pair of overalls and he had his pitchfork with him. And on the other side were a whole pack of dogs. There was no running water, no inside out. There was an outhouse out there. And my heart melted. I thought to myself, not only is this dad in charge of these 8 children, and he won't accept any government help because he was so proud. And I was stunned. So instead of doing what I thought, I'd come out there to lambast him and let him know what I was thinking about this, I put my hand out the window and I said, sir, would you be so kind as to let me come on your property? And he said, yes, ma'am, come on. And I said, well, would you kindly hold them dogs back? Because I don't want them chewing my chicken legs off. And he said, he laughed and I laughed and I said, okay. I got up to him. I could not come out there and tell him what I was going to tell him, that his son was a maniac in my class and he swore better than any sailor. I couldn't say that. I looked at him and I made it up right on the spot. And I said, sir, I came out here to talk to you about your son, David. He is singly the most unique student I've ever had. Now that is true because he could swear better than any 5 sailors I've ever seen. He was really good. And so I looked at him and I said, I am telling you that he's just incredible. And this daddy, I forgot to tell you, I'm a little bit of a crybaby. So if I start to cry, just give me a minute. I'll come back to myself. This daddy changed my life. He had probably a 3rd grade education and he had more kindness and compassion in his little baby Pinky than our entire school had. We had treated these children so badly and nobody had ever even thought about coming out to figure out what was the problem. So I said, sir, I've come out to talk to you about children. And he said, ooh, he said, they've been sending me letters, but don't you worry. I've been keeping them in a treasure box. I was stunned. A treasure box? Because you see, Daddy couldn't read. He didn't know what those letters said. He didn't know they were despicable. He did not know that they were being torn apart. He kept them in a treasure box because what had happened was every one of those children had passed down information, what they were going to do, and they'd read the letter to the daddy. And they'd say, Daddy, here's the new letter from the school. It says, David is a wonderful student. He is just a little superstar. And the daddy would say, ooh, what a great letter. Let's put it in the treasure box. He had taken all these horrible letters that said, what's the matter with you people? You're not feeding your kids. We're going to turn you into social services, blah, 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 blah. He couldn't read them. And the kids had learned to read them for him. And then he looks at me. I was so ashamed how we had treated his children. And he looks at me with kindness and he says to me, Miss Mulvaney, you're the first one that ever came all the way out here to tell us what my children were like. I'm so grateful. With a little help from you, I know David can be the superstar he was meant to be. I didn't know what to do. I was so ashamed of how we had treated his children. So I looked at him and I said, sir, and he was so proud, I knew he wouldn't take any help. So I had to change it around. And I said, sir, I have a nurse's station in my school, and we can give the kids shower. I did notice that you do not have a shower out here. And I guarantee you the children are picking on your son, and I just don't think that's fair. Could you help me out? Would you help me out, please? And he said, yes, ma'am. What do you need? And I said, would you be so kind as let David go down and take a shower every day? And would you help me out? We got all these clothes and shoes that people send in. And I believe David could use those. Would it be okay? Could you help me out and take some of these home? Let me get him a new outfit every day and then bring that clothes home. Would that be okay with you? And he said, yes, ma'am. Glad to do it. Glad to help you. I made it sound like he was helping me, not the other way around. I said, David comes in every day and, you know, he's a good eater. He's probably one of the best eaters we have in the entire school. He is a great eater. This kid is good. And I said, so being such a good eater, would you help me out, please? And he said, what do you need? And I said, I'm sure we got leftover food every single day, and we just throw it away. We just throw it away. Would it be okay if we packed him up a little lunch every day when he goes home, any extra food, and we'd just send it on home with you? Would that be all right with you? And he said, yes, ma'am. So I got him to agree to all of these things. And then I said, it will be my mission to help David become the superstar he was meant to be. I left. I said goodbye to everybody, hugged all the kids, hugged the daddy. And I said, thank you, sir, for letting me come on your property. I got about a mile back down the road and I sat there and I sobbed. I'm still crying today. It's years later and I'm still crying about this because we had done such a miserable job with these children. We had made them into things they weren't. It wasn't their fault that they couldn't take a shower. It wasn't their fault that they were hungry. It wasn't their fault that they had dirty clothes. They just were doing everything they could to hold on by their fingernails. And so once I got it out of me, I went back the next day and I knew I needed help. See, one of the things we do in school nutrition, one of the things we do in teaching, we just never ask for anybody for help. I need help. Listen to me. We're all one big circle in education. I don't care what anybody has said to you. You are singly the most important people in the education cycle. Period. End of story. You're absolutely, thank you. You should be shaking your pom-poms on that one. Because that is the truth. Listen to me. You cannot teach a kid that is hungry. And because what are they thinking about all day long? When they're hungry, what do they think about? Food. Who's got the food? We do. Who's the most important people in the school system? We are. Everybody shout out, we are. Just act like you're shouting it out. Okay, there we go. And so what we have got to understand is we're going about this all wrong. You've got to ask for help. So the next day, what I did is the next day, it was so funny. David gets off that bus. He does not wait for the bus driver to say anything. He doesn't wait for them teachers. He goes past the free breakfast. He goes past the playground. He comes racing into my room. He throws the door open and he says to everybody, Miss Mulvaney, she'll find your house. She'll find your house and she'll tell your daddy how good you are. She'll tell your daddy how good you are. So I can't change David in one day when he had been called Stinky David ever since he was in school. Come on. So I needed help. So the next day I went out to the bus driver and I looked him right in the eye and I said, George, will you help me please? And he said, what do you need, Miss Mulvaney? And I said, well, David comes on your bus every day. And I would like you, if you can't say anything nice, I don't want you to say anything at all. And I said, but I really would like you to say, thank you, David, for riding with us today. Are you coming back tomorrow? And he looked at me and he said, why should I say that? And I said, because he's coming back anyway, because he doesn't have anywhere to go. And so he said he'd help me. Then I went down to school nutrition and I said, you know, I love y'all. You know, I love y'all. So you have to help me. And they said, would you help me, please? And I said, yes. They said, what can we do? And I said, here's what I want. Do you know what the number one motivator of children is? Number one motivator of children is applaud. Applause is the number one motivator of children. That's right. Shake those pom-poms. And so the number one motivator is applause. So what I said to them was, when my class arrives, it's only 12 of us in our class. I want you to stand there and I want you to say, Miss Mulvaney's superstars have arrived. How long did that take? 10 seconds? Instead of I said, move on down that line. Instead of saying that, why don't we say the superstars have arrived? 10 seconds. It takes less time and they're going to behave differently with that. So I said, every week I'm going to come down here and I'm going to give you a card. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to say these same words every day to my kids for a week. And 1 week at a time, we're going to learn something new. So the first week of school, I want you to say to them, I have never seen so many well-behaved kids in all my life. Now, why do you think I want to say that to kids? Because kids will live up to your expectations. You expect them to be crazy, they will act crazy. You expect them to be thinking about it, they will do it. So it's going to be up to you what you're going to do with that. So every week I would come in with a new card and I'd say, and I wanted them to learn their names. And I introduced every single one of the kids to the school nutrition team because you were the single most important to my kids because every single one of them were hungry. So here's what I say to you. That's how I'd like to start today. But I want you to understand, in my book, you are singly the most important people in the school system. And by the end of my presentation today, if you don't hear anything else that I've said today, I want you to hear that. I want you to accept that. And I want you to bring that in. So shake your towels and let's get going. Let's get going. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a minute to share my screen with you. And now we're going to go into my PowerPoint. Are you with me so far? Yay. Anybody have their heart touched already? Yay. The Magic Kingdom, the school cafeteria, 5-star customer kit. And here's me. Oh, look at how cute I'm looking there. Come on now. And that's my book, Chicken Soup for the Teacher's Soul. That's where the Stinky David story's in it. Any kid can be a superstar. That's another one. Oh, the Women's Millionaire Club. Oh, that's an Amazon bestseller. Keep going. That and 50 cents still won't buy me a cup of coffee, so keep it up. And some. Today, this is not just a regular training. We're in a heart rally, if you ask me, heart rally, because I look at it as 2020 and your elementary school child nutrition. This is your back to school heart rally. And we're here to celebrate each and every one of you because you don't know how excited I am to be here. You don't know how thrilled I am to know that you are going to save those kids of your Adelanto city. I know you're going to save them because they're hungry. I'm telling you right now, I've looked at your county and it's already, I know you're hungry there. So the Magic Kingdom is your cafeteria. And we're not even starting the school in the cafeteria. So I look at it as it is in your parking lot with those boxes. That Magic Kingdom is, if you don't think those boxes are your Magic Kingdom to these kids, you are off in La La Land. I beg you to understand those boxes that are coming home, that might be the only food they get for the whole week. I promise you this. And so you have more Davids in your county than a lot of people do. So we got to pay attention. And why do we do what we do? Because it's the right thing to do. Is there anybody that doesn't think it's the right thing to feed children fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk? We are the only ones in all of the United States of America that are feeding children fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk. Because in the 1990s, they took out of every single school in America home economics. Most of these parents are doing the best they can. They just don't have a clue. It's not that they don't want to, they don't have a clue. And if you think fast food is doing it or the restaurants are doing it, you can kiss that one goodbye. School nutrition, this is why y'all are so important. Y'all need to hear me say this to you. You are serving these children fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions to keep them healthy. No one else on the planet is doing it. Shake your pom-poms. You are the best. Yay! And why do we do it? Because it's the right thing to do. And so how are we going to do it? Better, stronger, together. In the past, when we came in, people would say, you touch my cart, I'm going to stab you with the knife. I'm going to stab you. I'll stab you with the knife. Y'all got pictures on your cart. You got crazy stuff going on your carts. You want to do better, Julie, buy them more carts. That's all I got to say, for heaven's sake. Lord have mercy, they love their carts. And so y'all ain't even getting carts this year because you got boxes. But anyway, forget that. But you're better, stronger together. Listen, in the past, we picked at each other. We came in and said, well, you should sit. And if she thinks I'm going to do that, oh, flush that. And let it go. Come on. You cannot do this year. We don't have the time. Listen to me. These kids are hungry. They're just plain hungry. We do not have the time to fool around with picking at each other. We are going to stand strong this year. Better, stronger, together. Everybody, it goes like this. Better, stronger, together. We are better, stronger, together. We are better, stronger, together. So we don't have the time to pick at each other this year. We just don't. And so we're in the magic kingdom, that 5-star school nutrition. And when I say 5-star foods, I mean fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk. I don't care where you are in the world. That's a 5-star meal around the world. So you're serving 5-star food. So that's going to be the thing. And so your cafeteria and your boxes have now become that 5-star kingdom for these kids. And please understand that when you don't have a physical cafeteria, it's going to be that box that you're sending home, because you are singly the most important people in your school system. I don't care how good those teachers are. I'll be honest with you. I really thought I was a pretty good teacher. But if those kids were hungry, they were only thinking about food. They weren't thinking about what I was trying to teach them. So you can't be a good teacher unless we get them fed. And so hear me clearly on this. I know your kids are all CEP, meaning they get to eat free. I get that. But you don't get paid. Hear me clearly on this. You don't get paid the federal money unless the kids take the meal. Well, in the boxes, they're taking the meal. But when we do get back to school, because we're going to eventually do that, we got to think about how we're going to do this more efficiently and effectively to get them to take our food. And here you are. You look at how cute. I love that logo y'all have for your child nutrition services. And it's so cute. I love it. And so what you have to understand is we are saving America one 5-star meal at a time. You are saving Adelanto one 5-star meal at a time. If you think I'm not kidding about that, I'm as serious as they come. David was saved one school meal at a time. Whenever I was having challenges with David, I sent him down to the lunchroom to get something to eat, because it was always, he was hungry. Always, almost every single time. He was hungry or he was thirsty. And so I sent him down. And I'm so grateful. I came from a loving Navy family, and we moved all over the world. And I live in Arizona right now, right next door to you. And so, but I guarantee you, I love y'all so much, even though I haven't met you. I feel like I've met you in your little videos that you made and just watching what you've been doing. Crystal, you are a hot pistol there, girlfriend. And she's a pistol going on there. And but I feel like I know y'all. So, but why do I love you so much? Because you're in a place that is in challenge. I know you got 15 sites, but you've got 5 jails. 5 jails. What's wrong with that picture? And so this is not an area that kids are getting great things from looking around. And so you've got to know mamas and daddies have lost their jobs. And they were already in trouble before they lost their jobs. And now they've lost their jobs. And now the food area, the food insecurity is through the ceiling. Y'all, you've got to understand, this is not like we've done before. You are singly the most important people in your school system, in your entire county. Period. End of story. Give it up for yourself. You are the best. And we've got to get understanding who you are and what you're going to do. So you are the most important people, and you are saving your city all by yourself. 1 5-star meal at a time. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is feeding them fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportion. Does anybody disagree with that? That is exactly what you're doing, and nobody else is doing it. So you've got to understand your importance. And so look at, we're going to have 5-star Aldelanto strong professionals. And that's what you are. That's what our Miss Julie has invited you to be, is 5-star Adelanto strong professionals. And why is that? Because you have community, we have compassion, we have faith, we have joy, and we have love. That's the 5 stars we're going to use with each other. Because until we understand who we are and how we're going to treat each other, we're never going to get this all done. This year, no picking on each other. You can forget that gossip. Flush that out. We don't have time for it. We just don't have time for it. And so we've got to let it go. We've got to interact more collaboratively than we ever have in the past. In the past, we picked at each other. You can't do it anymore. Every single person is as extremely important as everybody else. Everyone has to work together as a community. We are our own school nutrition community before we go out into our bigger community. And so we're going to be all of these things because we're Aldelanto strong. And so we've got to understand that we feed these students 5-star meals, fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportion, and no one else on the planet is doing it. Let's go. We are 5-star strong. I love us. Yes, we're better, stronger together. Yes, we do it because it's the right thing to do. It's not the easy thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. And so this year in 2020, I don't know about y'all, but you know it is the perfect storm. It is the perfect storm. We had the coronavirus sail right into our lives without warning. There was no warning prior to this. Then we had social unrest because people were at home. They could watch these things that were happening that were so out of whack. And we were saying, wait a minute, that's not right. That's not American. That's not being kind. That is not being kind at all. So social unrest erupted, not only in the United States, it erupted all over the world. And then technology. 2020 has been that perfect storm because technology is shifting the way we live, the way we do business, and the way the world operates. Look at what we're doing right here. We're not with each other. We're doing this through Zoom. I love it. And so, but it's shifting because listen to me, what's happening. Shifting from the power from institutions, from corporations, and from big government and business into the hands of connected individuals. Everybody, almost everybody in your audience today has got a cell phone. Everybody. And so what's happening, everything has changed. And so we're Aldelanto strong. I love us. We are. And so, but nothing will ever be the same as it was. We keep saying, well, I just want things to go right back to normal. Oh, flush that. That's not going to happen. Nothing is ever going to be the same as it was. Thank you, Lord, because some of this stuff was not right. Some of it needed to be changed. So many things have changed. I guarantee you. Even the toilets, they are redesigned. The toilets haven't been redesigned since the turn of the century. They are redesigning toilets because when you flush, there's what they call the plume. And so now they're designing new toilets that are not going to have the plume because we don't want virus coming up at you. Everything is being rethought, everything. And so here's where you guys come in, because this perfect storm has shattered virtually everything as we knew it. But here's the beauty of it. It's laying the groundwork that hasn't even emerged yet. We don't even know how it's going to get put back together. That's why I'm so excited, because that's where you come in. Because our 5-star school nutrition professionals, if we didn't like what was going on before, we can change it now, because we can redesign everything. We get to create the future. I love that. We're creating the future. And some, it's going to be, how do you want to go to work? I want to go to work with happy, joyous, kind people. How do you want to do what you do? I want to do it with excitement. That's what I want. So that's what I'm going to create. And listen to me. You have 2 choices. You can either, you get to create the new normal. Get that? It doesn't just happen unless you just let it. I'm not letting the new normal just happen. I'm going to create it. And you have to create it. Are you going to create it with fear? Are you going to create it with excitement? And hear me clearly. The difference between fear and excitement, you know what that is? It's your attitude, plain and simple, just your attitude. That is the only difference between fear and excitement. Let me give you an example. You ever been on a roller coaster? Anybody ever been on a roller coaster? I know some of you love the roller coaster. It's exciting. But some of you are terrified of the roller coaster, but you got on the ride anyway. The difference between fear and terror is a thought, because you're either terrified or you're on there because you're excited, and you have a choice. So here it is, everybody. This is your choice. Are you going to be fearful as we go into the new normal, or are we going to be excited? And I'm going to tell you what my choice is. I'm going in excited. I've had enough. I've had enough. One thought is all it takes to change it from fear to excitement, and I'm going in with excitement. I hope you come along with me, because the only difference between terror and excitement is a thought. Your attitude. So what's it going to be? Are you going to be Aldelanto strong? Are you going to do it with fear? Or are you going to do it with excitement? Who's coming with me and doing it with excitement? Yes, yes, yes. Let's create the future. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to throw down a challenge to you right this very minute. And my challenge is I want you to make a decision right now whether you're going to use fear or you're going to thrive inside this perfect storm. I am going to thrive. Is there anybody that does not understand that there are going to be millionaires are going to be made during this perfect storm? There are. People are already making tons of money just doing masks, just doing eyewear, just doing every kind of crazy thing you think of. And some, you are the leaders of tomorrow. School nutrition, pay attention. You are the leaders of tomorrow. I know they think the teachers are, but it is you, plain and simple. It is you. It's just going to be you. You can either decide to go back to work the way you went back last year, or we make a decision. We're sticking together like glue. We're better, stronger together because we know we're doing the right thing. For serving these kids fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk. That's a 5-star meal, and we're going to do it with compassion, community, love, faith, and joy. That's how we're going to do it. 5-star all the way around. And so that's what we're going to do, and that's what I'm in. So we're all in the same boat, and you have to make a decision. The throwdown is, are you going to thrive or with excitement? Will you take my challenge? Anybody want to take my challenge? Are we going to thrive? If you're thriving, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Make some noise. Get it going. And what I want you to do is I want you to honor the fact that we're all on the ship of hope. Your community desperately needs you. You need each other. You know, we laughed saying, well, school nutrition is the only group that had to go back to work during the summer. Thank you, God. We were the ones that got to get out of the house. The rest of them were dying in there. You know, saying, oh my gosh, my kids are driving me crazy because they couldn't figure out how to get online. And so anyway, so what I'm saying to you is we're going to be hope. We have to be hope for each other. We have to be hope for our community. We have to be the hope. We got to bring it. America and California have missed you. Trust me when I tell you this. They're desperate to go back to school. They're desperate. And we have to do this carefully. We have to do it kindly. We have to do it safely. And so, because you are saving America one 5-star meal at a time, plain and simple. That's all there is to it. So we've got to be careful. We've got to be clear. But you have got to understand you are singly the most important people in the school system, period, bar none. How are we going to get this big job done this year? Better, stronger, together. Why are we doing it? Because it's the right thing to do. We're the only ones that have 5-star meals, and we're going to get it done. And why are we doing it? Because we're Aldelanto strong. That's what we are in our school system. You see, your thoughts determine your experience. It's called the law of attraction. If you, and it doesn't matter whether you know the law or not, it just doesn't matter. If you don't know the law of gravity, if you sit under an apple tree long enough, an apple is going to come down and plunk you on the head, whether you know the law of gravity or not. Whether you know the law of attraction or not, it's going to happen to you. If you say, I have no money, I have no money, I have no money, guess what the universe is going to send you? No money. And so what you have to do is everything that drops out of your mouth, you have to be very careful what you say, because the universe is always listening and it will always send you. If you say, oh, I have no money, it's going to send you no money. If you say, I'm going to get sick, it's going to send you, you're going to get sick. So you've got to be careful what drops out of your mouth. And you have, the judgment is a very powerful magnet. And whatever you judge is going to come right back at you. So if you've got kids like David and well, these kids are driving me crazy. They drive me crazy. I guarantee you're going to get more crazy kids coming at you. It's just the way it is. So you got to be careful what drops out of your mouth. And you have to say things like, I claim my vibrant health. I claim harmonious relationships with my coworkers and my family. And so you have to focus everything you can on the power to protect yourself, the power to protect your coworkers, to protect your family, hand washing, face wearing, social distancing. Focus on vibrant health. That's what we're going to focus on this year. And focus on harmonious relationships that are going to work for you and work for your coworkers. I want you to know, I get up every single morning and I sing the song, every little cell in my body is happy, every little cell in my body is well. And I tell my cells, I want them to be happy and well. And they, thank you goodness, I am so excited, because 40 is the new 60. So I'm 49. And so I want you to know, I don't take a drop of medication and I'm doing excellent. So I want you to know it really works. And so together, we have to be together for each other, together with each other, and together supporting each other. That's what we're going to do this year, because we are Adelanto strong, and we are about better, stronger together. When we act as one, we are better, stronger together. It's just that simple. And we will get through this year, because why? We're doing the right thing. We're saving America one 5-star meal at a time. Shake it up. We're better, stronger together. We are better, stronger together. We are better, stronger together. That's who we are. That's what we do. And I choose excitement over everything else. And that's what we say. We are strong because we are better, stronger together. Shake your pom-poms, clap your hands, throw your towels. Together, we are saving America one 5-star meal at a time. That's how we usually look like. And when we're out there, because we're better, stronger together, and it's the right thing to do. We're saving these kids. And we are community. I want you to know we are community. And what does that mean to me? It means we're going to get involved. And it means that when I taught David back in Charles County, Maryland, I don't know about y'all, but it was so small that everybody knew everybody. Is that what happens in Aldelanto? Everybody knows everybody. You go to the Walmart and everybody goes, Mommy, that's my lunch lady. There's my lunch lady. I mean, they know you. They see you. They all know you. And so it was that way in Charles County too. And they'll come right up and tell you those kind of things. Well, you've got to understand it is our time to put it together. We've got to be our community. I don't know about y'all, but when I had a hard day's work, I might have gone home from work and maybe I might have complained a little bit to my family and friends. Okay, I did a lot. And so what happened is, we think it's just staying with your family and friends in a small town like that. It's out in a nanosecond. In a nanosecond, we spread. And you are either going to be lifting your community this year, or you're going to be smashing them down. The minute you come home from work, I'm begging you, I'm asking you, please do not, I repeat, do not complain. Do not say it was a miserable day, because when you do that, your community does the same thing. And I want them to know you are saving America one 5-star meal at a time. We're going to change what we're saying to these people. So you're going to tell people you have the safest, cleanest kitchens in America. You're going to tell people, because that's truth, you serve more students than any fast food restaurant in America. I'm sick and tired of them saying that they do. We're the ones that just save in America, not them. And so we have got to make a decision right here, right now, that we are community. What does that mean to me? That means that we are one group. Even though you're all in different schools, we are one cafeteria. Even though you're all in different schools, we are one. We stick together like glue. You come at one of us, you come at all of us. Instead of us saying, oh yeah, she is really a jerk too. I know that. No, we're not doing that again. You speak badly about anybody that we know in our school nutrition, we're going to stand up for you and say, you know what? We're community. We're better, stronger together. We're saving America one 5-star meal at a time. I was in a school in New York, and it was unbelievable. Here we are having a meeting like we have now, just like behind me, that all these people were paying attention, and there was a side door. And every day these teachers came in that side door. And so they were so used to just walking straight across that they didn't notice there were 150 people sitting there having a great session. And he decides to walk right in front of me. I don't know what he was thinking. And I said, excuse me, hello. And so I said, these are the school nutrition professionals of America. They are saving America one 5-star meal at a time. They are serving your students fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions every single day. They are raising your test scores, lowering your behavior problems, and they deserve to be treated as professionals. So would you mind either walk around or you can sit down? Which will it be? He was stunned. He was stunned because nobody had ever said that to him. And so he decided that he would sit down, because he said, I've never seen anything like this. So we have got to start standing up for ourselves. You have got to know who we are and what we do. We save in America one 5-star meal at a time. We're serving fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportion. We are absolutely getting the job done. And nobody can teach a great class unless you have your children are well fed. So you've got to get involved. We've got to start saying what's happening. We have the cleanest, safest kitchens in America. How come I'm the only one that seems to know that? You watched the video this morning, you can see that goes on in fast foods all the time, but our stuff, we clean it up. We know how to do. And so our decision has got to be, we're lifting our community, because we're staying together as a community within ourselves. So you've got my personal prayer. I have to take action, and this is what I pray every day. Oh Lord, please help me guard what drops out of my mouth, and keep watch over the doors of my lips. Protect my mouth from agreeing with gossip and judgment about others. Make me painfully aware and profound meaning of every word that I speak. I choose to speak only life-giving, encouraging, and supportive words, so that sweet fruit is produced as a result of my words. My words are to help my community do better. You see, I believe together we are one family, we are one cafeteria, and we will save our community with the 5-star meals to inspire success and improve tomorrow. If you're with me, shake your pom-poms, raise your towel, and say we're better, stronger together. And we do it because it's the right thing to do. And so make some noise there. And so how are we going to use compassion? You see, pity is I acknowledge your pain. Sympathy is I care about your pain. Empathy is I feel your pain. But compassion is the only one that takes action. I strive to relieve your pain. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you get rid of your pain. We have to take action. Some of our community is just decimated. They've lost their jobs. They're going to lose their houses here coming up. Some of us have lost our jobs and I'm one of them. I was supposed to have the best year ever of my life, and my business went from best year ever to zero overnight. And I have to make some decision. Am I going to be fearful of that? Or am I going to decide this is my moment in time? I can do things differently. I can learn to Zoom. I can learn to do a lot of different things. And so what I'm going to say to you, first, have compassion for yourself. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Then have compassion for your coworkers. Let's not judge this year. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. And so what we're going to do, and then let's have some compassion for those students and their parents. Unless a parent, hear me clearly on this, unless a parent is psychotic, promise you, they're doing the very best they can with the skills and supplies and resources that they have. David's father was doing the best he could with the resources he had. And he was so proud he wouldn't ask for anything else. So I have to make it clear to you, let's give each other compassion, but give it to yourself first. We are better, stronger together. Are you with me? Better, stronger together. Yes, we are, because we're doing the right thing, because we're Aldelanto strong. That's who we are. Faith. And when I say faith, I mean faith in ourselves and each other. I have to have faith and recognize that I'm bigger than any circumstances that is surrounding me. We will get through this pandemic. It's just that simple. We will get through this. How we get through it is up to us. How you're going to get through it is up to you. You're either going to do it fearfully or you're going to do it with excitement. Your choice. Nobody else can make you. It's your choice. So you've got to recognize you're bigger, and you have to recognize that your human spirit, our human spirit, is unbreakable. We're unshakable, and we're unstoppable. Why? Because we're school nutrition. That's why we're better, stronger together. I just love us. And so we are some of the toughest people in the school system with the biggest hearts. Toughest people with the biggest hearts. You see, the kitchen is the heart of the home, but the cafeteria, we're the heart of the school. We are the heart of the school. So we've got to act like that. We've got to know, number one, know what you want. Here's what I personally say about this year. I have the strength and the faith to experience my best school year yet. 2, believe you can have it. I have faith that I will create a positive school year environment, regardless of what anybody says to me, no, regardless of any of the circumstances. Number 3, start with the end in mind. There's not an Olympic athlete that I've ever worked with or talked to that didn't start with the end in mind. And you know what they always said? I see myself standing on the Olympic gold medal stand, bending down so that they can put the Olympic gold medal around my neck. That's what we have to see. What does the end of the school year look like? We're all together. We're all happy. We're all still loving on each other. And we fed the kids of our school system. And we gave them fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions. And they loved it, and so did we. We loved our jobs. That's what you have to see, that you're the most important person in the school system. How would the most important person in the school system act? How would you feel? I would feel like I had just won the gold medal. I'd be standing there bending down, waiting for them to put the gold medal on my neck. And then lastly, you got to surround yourself with positive go-getters. What I mean by that, you got to, in your cafeteria or in your little group or however you do it, create the positive go-getter group. Because we got enough people that are going to bring you down. I don't want them in my group. I'm not going to put them down, but I'm certainly not inviting them to my positive go-getter group. I want people that are going to be smiling, are going to be happy to join my group. And I want you to make a decision. Say that you're going to say 10 positive things before you go home every single day to your coworkers, to the kids, or anybody around you. Golly, I appreciate your behavior today. You make me smile. I just feel so happy when you're around. Those are the kind of things you're going to say to your coworkers. And then I want you to ask that everybody only speak words of kindness, compassion, and joy. So when people get going, say, you know what? We made a decision. We're going to only speak kind words, because this is our safe place. It's tough out there. But this is our community, our school nutrition community. It's our safe place. And it's a safe place for the kids. Trust me when I tell you that. So you're going to take action. Don't let fear stop you. Choose excitement. Nothing happens in life until you take action. So we're Adelanto strong because we have faith in each other and ourselves. We are better, stronger together. That's who we are because it's the right thing to do. And then we have joy. We are joy. And so smile. I want you to smile. It does not matter whether it's not your personality or culture. I hear people telling me all the time, MGM, I'm not like you. It's not my culture. I don't care. I don't care. Put a smile on your face because then people are wondering, what is she thinking? So smile at the kids and smile at each other. Here's who we're working for. Here's who we're working for. Everyone smiles in the same language. That's the baby we're working for. So put a smile on your face. And even on your, I'll tell you what, even when you're wearing your mask, you know when somebody's smiling. You can see it in their eyes. So start smiling, even behind the mask, start smiling. And so I have these shirts. I have this superpower where my kindness and joy rubs off on everybody around me. I love that shirt. I like to wear it because people always smile when they see it. And so that's what's going to happen to us. And so love. I want us to start having love for ourselves and each other. I want you to have love for yourself. I want us to have love for what we do for a living. I want us to accept with excitement that we're the ones that are saving our city. We're saving America, one 5-star meal at a time. I want us to love what we do. I want us to have love for our coworkers. You got some new people coming this year. Treat them right. Because Lord have mercy, it's been hard to get people to come work with us. And so kiss on them. Well, don't kiss on them because we don't want coronavirus. So don't do that. But send them to love. Send them to love right off the bat. And tell them you're here for them. You will support them. And I want you to only pass on kind things. If you're going to say something, if it's not, didn't your mama tell you? If you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. So if you're going to say anything that's not nice, don't say it. Don't say it. Keep it to yourself. Because see, I come from the South. We can tell you to go to hell in such a way that you enjoy the trip. That's what we do. We do it all the time. So y'all can borrow that from California. And so we got to have love for each other. Don't pass on any judgments about each other or those kids. And let's be Adelanto strong because we are what? Better, stronger together. Because we're doing the right thing, plain and simple. Is there anybody in this audience I've touched your heart at least once today? Anybody got their heart touched at least once? Because hear me clearly, I can't teach you anything until I touch your heart. So first you got to touch your heart that you're the most important people in the school system. You must remember that. You must act like that. And you must accept that you are the most important people because you're saving America one 5-star meal at a time. We cannot do it the way we've done it in the past. We have the new option to make the new normal, which is better, stronger together. We are not going to pick each other apart. And if anybody comes at any one of you, you're going to stand there and say, you know what? In school nutrition, we stick together. We know that we're saving America one 5-star meal at a time. We serve fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions every single day to every single student. We raise test scores, lower behavior problems, and we are the most important people in the school system. We have the cleanest, safest kitchens in America. When you can say that to people, they go, say what? And so that's what we're going to say to them, and that's how we're going to do it. If you're with me, say we're better, stronger together. Better, stronger together. That's right. We're waving those things. And let's get creating some magic. We're going to create magic every single day. The first thing we're going to do is flush out anything left over from last year that does not work for us. So the first thing we're going to flush is the cart. You touch my cart, I'll stab you with a knife. Everybody grab your flushers. Let's flush it out. Those carts are going to be exchanged. So, well, we might not be exchanging them too much this year. But anyway, we're going to let them go. Move on down the line. Move, move, move. We're flushing that out. It's never going to happen. Even with the cars, we're going to say it kindly. We're going to say, I can help you on to the next station. And that's what we're going to say. Some of you come in saying, I'm so grumpy, I don't even talk to myself. And so we're not going to do that. Flush that out. Let that person go. And here's what y'all do. You have advertised for a substitute cafeteria worker all summer long. You finally get one and you're so excited. And here's what y'all do. You're in my parking place. Get out. No, you're not going to do that. Don't do it. Flush it. Flush it. Some of you, you know you're doing that. You know you are. So we're flushing that. So flush it, everybody. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And so We only have 2 products in school nutrition. Who knows what those are? Let me help you. They are your school lunch, our food. It's fruit, 5-star food, fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions every single day to every single kid because we're CEP. And so we have our food, and the only other product that we have is our service. Now I say that our food is 5-star. We've got to get our service being 5-star. We got to get our service to each other and to these kids and to our administrator. Anybody that comes down your line is your customer. So to each other is very important to me. Y'all got to treat each other better. And so are you with me? Shake your hands like this if you're with me. Tell me you're going to treat each other with great dignity and respect. And so, because customer service for kids, that's my book. And so anyway, we're going to team up and celebrate each other because we're having a heart rally today. So let the magic begin. So here we go. The next thing we're going to do is create magic every day. Come on. You got to put in action what you learned in kindergarten. Serve with heart. Serve with heart. This is who you're feeding every day. Look at this young man. He's got on his shirt, feed me. He always makes me cry because I think to myself, this kid is hungry. Why do they come to school? To get what we've got with them, the food. We're the only ones in the whole system that have the food. His water bottle is bigger than he is, but he's begging you to feed him. And they don't want just your food. These kids need the food and they need your heart. Cafeteria is the heart of the school. Come on. Let's start giving out some of that love to these kids and their mamas and daddies. Their mamas and daddies are in big trouble right now. We say 1 out of every 5 kids in America is hungry. In your area, it's probably 1 out of every 3. I'm begging you to understand. We feed their minds. We feed their hearts. We feed them our food. And you got to feed these kids some heart. Because the Magic Kingdom is, look at this, is your school cafeteria. And we're not going to get to do that much this year, but we might later on. So we got to get ready for it. We've rolled out the red carpet for you because Julie said that's what she wanted to do. And I say it's the right thing to do, and we do it better, stronger together. And so we're going to create magic every single day. So you say, why do they call you MGM? MGM Superstar. That's my MGM Superstar. That's my website. Why they call me that? I'll tell you why. Because my mama was one of those people that she had a great sense of humor. She named me Maureen G. Mulvaney, so my initials would be MGM, her big production. You can't even make that stuff up. And so, but anyway, that's what my mama named me. And so my mama was one of these that was brilliant. And what she did was she picked out one thing that all of us were good at when we were kids. My brother was very good with his hands as a child. And my mother would say to him 1,000,000 times a day, Wayne, you're so good with your hands. And so what did my brother grow up to be? An architect? No, he didn't grow up to be an architect. He grew up to be a plumber. And so, but where did he do his plumbing? At the White House. My brother was a plumber at the White House. And so then it came my sister. And so my sister, she was very good with putting things together. So my mother would say to her every day, you're so good putting all this stuff together. And so she grew up to work in congressional records on Capitol Hill. And she too went to the White House every day. But I, on the other hand, was funny. So my mother would say to me, oh, MGM, you always make me laugh. You're so funny. One day you're going to grow up and do great things with your words. Now, the number 1 fear in America is speaking. Number 7 is death. That means more people would rather grow up and die than to grow up to be a speaker. So I grew up to be a speaker. So the first time I'm going to speak for 5,000 people, it was something else. I was terrified. I went over the night before just to check it out and do a sound check. And sure enough, I got up in this audience and it was so crazy. It was 5 stories high. 5,000 people were going to be there the next day. I got scared. I started crying. I called my mother and I said, Ma, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I can't do this. And you know what my mother said? My mother said, you are Maureen G. Mulvaney, MGM, a big production. You have been training for this your entire life. This is your moment. When you get on that stage, before you hit the top of that stair, I want you to step onto the stage and claim your destiny. Claim your destiny. Listen to me. I don't know why you took this job, but you took it. I don't know how you got it, but you got it. This is your moment in time to claim your destiny. You're saving America one 5-star meal at a time. And so that night, I bucked up, I put on my big girl pants, and I walked back to my hotel, and I felt stronger and better. And by the time I got back to my hotel, there at as I opened the door, my mother and father had sent me a dozen red roses. And the card said, "We always knew our MGM would be a big production. Claim your destiny." This is your moment in time. We have never been needed more than we're needed right this very minute. Never. And so you have to make a choice. Are you going to claim your destiny? My mother was brilliant at using what we called spaced repetition. She said it, heard it, and experienced it 6 or more times within 21 days, and we got it. My brother did great things with his hands. He became a plumber. My sister worked in congressional records, and I became a speaker. This wasn't willy-nilly. My mother set us up for success. You have to set your own children up for success, and you have to set yourselves up for success. Talk success, be success, see success. And look at Miss Betty Jo Spencer, my hand. She creates magic in school nutrition every single day in Vina, Alabama. This lady is 89 years old, and she has been in school nutrition for 55 years. 55 years. And she has more energy in her little pinky than most of us have in our entire body. And it was really interesting because she had the courage to claim her destiny. On her shirt, it says, "Some people only dream of meeting their favorite people. I feed mine." It's time. This is our time. We have never had a better time than we've got right now. So we have to claim our destiny that we are saving America one 5-star meal at a time by serving fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions in the cleanest, safest kitchens in America. So if you're with me, shake your pom-poms and say we're better, stronger together. We are better, stronger together, because that's what we do. And so you have to have the courage to claim your destiny and see it and claim it right now, because it's the right thing to do, and we do it better, stronger together. And so we have a huge mission in front of us, a huge mission. Never before have we had a better time than we've got right now to create magic everywhere we go. I told you I live in Phoenix, Arizona. This summer, it's already been up. And matter of fact, yesterday, it was 117 degrees, 117 degrees. It's so hot in Phoenix, Arizona, that you cannot let your dogs go out and walk on the cement because it will burn the little pads off their feet. So we either have to take them out at night or we have to take them out very early in the morning. You can't take them out. So in 115 weather, don't you know, on the TV comes on this thing and it says, breaking news. Amy Deal dies playing hide and seek. How does a child die playing hide and seek? And then came the rest of the story. Little Amy Deal and her family lived in Phoenix, Arizona. She had come home from school and she was hot. She was tired and she wanted something to eat because she was hungry. She went in her freezer and the only thing that she found was a popsicle. So she had the popsicle and started eating the popsicle. When her grandmother, her aunt, her 2 cousins came in and said that she stole the popsicle, they took out a footlocker. They put Amy in a footlocker, kicked her all over the living room for 4 hours, left her in the box overnight when they went to bed with no air conditioning. The next day, Amy was gone. And I tell you this despicable story because I want you to feel how important you are. Little Amy Deal was going to our school system. Somebody should have noticed her. This kid was in trouble. I told you during the David story, there's only 2 things that kids can do when they're in trouble. They can either fight back or they get smaller and smaller and smaller. What do you think Amy was doing? Amy was getting smaller and smaller. She wasn't noticed. Why? Because at her house, every time she got noticed, she got smacked. So she learned not to get noticed, and she got smaller and smaller and smaller. So every day, here's why you're so important. You've got to understand this. She came to school. She didn't have any shoes. Nobody noticed the kids coming to school with no shoes on in our hot weather. But because she was so quiet and wanted to be so hidden, they didn't see it. Every morning she sat on the curb out in the sun outside of the school. You think she was rushing into school to be getting reading, writing, and arithmetic? She was rushing into school because she was what? Hungry. She was hungry and she wanted to eat. And so that's why. And so, listen to me. We've got the food. You don't know how many Amy Deals are in your school system. They're there. Amy's and David's, they're there. I'm begging you this year, begging you. We have more than we've ever, because child abuse is through the ceiling, because nobody's been watching. So the teachers, us in school nutrition, nobody's been watching. Nurses haven't been watching. These kids are in trouble. So I'm begging you, pay attention, and give them everything you've got. Smile at them through your mask. Make sure you say kind things to both the parents and the kids. Let them know you're there for them, because we need to create magic every single day for these kids. This is Amy Deal. She's gone. Way too soon. And so we have to see something. We got to say something. You're the ones that see this is why you're so important in a regular school year. But even now, the teachers only see their 25, 22, or how many kids they've got in their classroom. You see every kid, you see every administrator, you see every person that comes down that line. You have more power in your school system than anybody in the whole school system, because you see everybody and you have more information about this. So I'm asking you, I'm begging you, we can't just idly stand by anymore. We've got to act out, and we've got to start showing what we can do with our 5-star food and our 5-star compassion. And if you're with me for more Amy Deals, shake your pom-poms and say, I'm the one that's going to get it done. This year, I'm going to show my excitement. I'm going to be there for each other and for these kids. And let's do it. Let's show, because you are singly the most important person in the school system. Yes, 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 you are. There's no one more important than you are in these school systems. And so hopefully I've touched your heart to teach your soul. And so we've got to start doing this every single day. Change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you do. And so here we are as baby little lunch ladies, and look, and we loved each other. We were so good. And then we get in our kitchens and we go like this, and look at, we even get better, and we're just fabulous. We just, but we kind of click up when we get in our little cliques like this, and we all look alike. But then, unless we understand that we have to have compassion and love for each other, if you don't make these changes I'm asking you to make, if you don't make these changes, accept them, and be excited this year, this is what's going to happen to you. Instead of looking like this is what's going to happen. Don't close your eyes, don't look, because this is what's going to happen to you if you do not make these changes. That is exactly what's going to happen to you. I said don't look. And so anyway, that's what's going to happen. So we've got magic heart rallies, and we're doing this right, but we're running out of time. So you're the heart of the school, so we've got to make this happen. You're the most important people in the school system. You've got to understand you raise test scores, lower behavior problems, and you lower obesity in the children. So you've got to understand you're doing the right thing. We've got to show some pride, and we've got to toot, and we've got to let everybody know, in the famous words of the Dolly Parton, she said, it ain't bragging if it's the truth. So I need y'all to start tooting. I think you need to show some pride in who we are and what we do. And so we change the school systems every single year. I'm going to slip through these as quickly as I can. Here's you. You're number one. You serve thousands of breakfasts each and every day. Give it up for yourselves. You're doing a great job. You have turned, some of you are serving 24,000 lunches a day. Come on. Not a fast food restaurant in America and hold a candle to you. You serve thousands of snacks and suppers. And some of you, you're serving 800 kids in an hour and a half. Name a fast food restaurant that could hold a candle to you, for heaven's sake. It's not going to happen. And then we have millions of people in need. This year, more than ever before. You're not feeding that one kid, those two kids. You're feeding that family. Trust me, when you know that's true. And so And look at this. This is a 50-year-old kitchen. Look at this kitchen. 50 years old. You could eat off those floors. And we have the safest, cleanest kitchens in America. And nobody knows this but me. Will you please start telling everybody that you have the safest, cleanest kitchens in America? Because that's the truth. You use NASA-style cleaning. So, of course, that's the truth. So we got to tell everybody who will listen, toot, toot, we're the safest, cleanest kitchens in all of America. You got it. So we are together, we achieve more. And so that's who we are. And so we've got to create magical moments. Please be aware that you create 3 magical moments with heart for you and your team first, because if you're not happy in your team, you won't give that to the kids. So first you've got to create 3 magical moments for each other with heart. Then you can create it for your customers, which are the kids, the teachers, and anyone who comes through that line. So 3 magical moments create a magical experience. How many magical moments? 3, and creates a magical moment. And why is that important? What are the 3 most important words that you can say to your coworkers? I appreciate you. Tell them you appreciate them for coming in, that you appreciate them. Even when you say, I appreciate you to Suri, my Suri says to me the other day when I said, I appreciate, it's nice to be appreciated. I couldn't believe she talked back to me like that. And so you've got to thank each other every day. You people say, well, I just don't, come on, spend the time giving each other thanks and praise, because those that feel valued and appreciated always do more than expected. Teamwork makes the dream work. So I want to thank y'all. And here are some of your team members that I want to thank. Give it up for them. They did a great job. Now, I'm sorry I don't have pictures of everybody, but here are the pictures that I do have. So let's give these guys a thank you. Give it up for them. Yay, they're doing a great job. Look at them go. Yes, 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 yes. And here we go more. Give them a thanks. Yay, you're doing a good job. Thank you, thank you. And look at Michelle and Donna. Don't they look happy? Now look at, you see those smiles right through those masks? You can see those smiles right through those masks. You go, lady. Oh, look at this is our dress up gang. They love to dress up. I love y'all. And so here we go. Then look at these guys. They're in their Dodgers. They're ready to go. Let's go, go, go. Yes, great job. Thank you. And then look at this. We're getting that salads made. And then look at this exquisite salad bar. Oh my gosh, it doesn't get better than that. And here we go. Thanks and appreciation. Look at the dress up team again. They love to dress up. I love them. And so we got all these people we want to say thank you to. And I want to say a special thank you to Julie. If you like what you've seen today, I want you to write her, chat her, tell her, text her, do everything you can to say, because the more you support and appreciate when you've got something you like, you get it again. You complain, you'll never get this again. So you got to tell her thank you. And if you didn't like today, write me. If you like it, take it. But here's what Julie did to get me. I guarantee you, Julie calls me up from California. Hey, MGM. She saw me 3 or 4 years ago. She's been trying for 4 years to get me to come over there. And my schedule's been so busy. And I had to say, Julie, I'm sorry. And then she said, little devil, she just keeps calling back. I said, Julie, is this you again? She said, yes. I said, well, baby. And she said, I said, well, how much money do you have? And she said, well, we don't have any. And I said, what? Thanks for calling, click. And then she called back. I said, you cannot get rid of her. And so she just kept calling. And she said, listen, don't hang up, don't hang up, don't hang up. MGM, I have the best team in all of California. I would put my group up against anybody in California. Forget that. I put them up against anybody in America. You're the #1 rated speaker, and they are the #1 rated team in America. We should get together. I said, I'll do it. So give it up to Julie, who would not give up to get me to come to see you guys. And give it up to all the other people in your office and say, thank you. You did a great job. We love you. We love you. We love you. Let them know. Let them know. Let them know. And so we thank to all of you for what you do, because you are saving America 1 5-star meal at a time. Fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportion in the safest, cleanest kitchens in all of America. I love school nutrition. And so I lose my mind, don't I? So our job is to create happiness and spread hospitality. And so when you go to the Magic Kingdom, it's known as what? The happiest place on earth. That's a lie, but they tell it to you anyway, don't they? Happiest place on earth. And so the first time I took my daughter, Maureen, she was only 6 years old. She looks like this, and she's older now. But when she was a baby, we went over there, and they said, it's the Happiest place on earth. Really? I don't think so. You had to stand online from the minute you got out of your car to then. You had to all but mortgage your house to walk in the front door of Disney World. It was unbelievable. And everywhere you went, you stood online, stood online, stood online. And it was unbelievable. And so by the end of the day, the kids are crying and they're just whining and they're going, I hate this. I want to go home. I don't like this. And the mother said, oh, shut up. We have spent all this money. You better have a good time now. Get happy. And so it's crazy making. It's crazy making. And yet you knew you had to wait all those times. You knew that the price has gone up. It is just crazy. But see, they market. That's what you call spaced repetition. They tell it to you every time you hear Disney World, it's the happiest place on earth. They say it together. It's called spaced repetition. That's what my mama did to me. That's what I want you to do in your magic kingdom. It's the happiest place on earth. We're the happiest place on earth because we're serving fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportion. Not them. They're charging us a fortune, and yet we're saving America. They're not saving America. So let's borrow that from them. We should be the happiest place on earth for these kids. And they use spaced repetition on steroids. It's the happiest place on earth. It's the happiest place on earth. And that's what we want to do. So let's peek behind the curtain and see how they get people to act like it's the happiest place on earth. This is down in Florida. This is Disney World. And that's a popcorn stand. And it has just rained, so the popcorn seller is not out there. But usually that popcorn seller stands out by that stand all day long. And it's hot in Florida. It might only be 90 degrees, but it is absolutely humid. And so they stand out there all day long. And what do? Popping, boxing, selling, popping, boxing, selling, popping, boxing, selling. Some people might call that boring. Any other place on earth, it would be boring, but not at Disney World because they're there to create happiness, aren't they? And so what does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like our cafeterias? Every day, cooking, serving, cleaning, cooking, serving, cleaning, cooking, serving, cleaning. That might be considered boring, but not in Aldelanto. No, sir. We're the happiest place on earth. That's what we are. And so what's the Disney difference? Why do they do it so differently than anybody else? And it's just training. You see, but in school food service, we say things like, I ain't got no time for that. Courtesy is just common sense. We have a new person on the line and we say, I don't have no time to train her. Just stand up there and do it. And they see us saying, run down that line. So they have to pick up on that. So if we're going to be the happiest place on earth, you can't do that. We got to do some training. We got to listen to me. Only the happiest, sweetest, kindest, nicest people should be the ones that train the new people. And what do? The exact opposite. We go, I'm too busy. All the good people are too busy to train. So we always say, get married to do it. And she's the one that says, I tell you what, let's do it like this. So you got to get the happiest people doing all the training. And so because courtesy is just common sense, no, it's not. And so no 18 to 65-year-old walks through your door knowing how to be courteous and safe and show and customer service. They need training. So common sense is like deodorant. The people that really need it never use it. So I guarantee you, you have to make some decisions to let the happy people train the new people. It's just that simple. How many magical moments create a magical experience? 3. 3 magical moments with heart create a magical experience. So here's what's happening. What's the Disney difference for business? Look at this 18-year-old and this 65-year-old. What do you see? They both look what? Happy, very happy, because they know what their number one job is. Is their number one job to sell hats? No. Is their number one job to tell people where the bathroom is? No. That's their number 2. That's a task. Anybody can do a TASK, task. That is a task. These people, number one job is to create happiness and spread hospitality. Their number one job is to create happiness and to spread hospitality. Their number one job is to create happiness and spread hospitality. Their task is to sell hats, to show people where the bathroom is, and to pop the popcorn. But their number one job is to create happiness and spread hospitality. I think we can borrow that, don't you? I think we can. And school nutrition, look at these two ladies. Don't they look like they want to have the courage to claim their destiny, to create happiness and spread hospitality? That is our number one job. This year, if you decide that your number one job is to create happiness and spread hospitality, your life will change, because the tasks that you do are filling the box, serving the food, cleaning the counter. Those are tasks. Tasks, tasks. I can train anybody to do a task. I only hire and want to work with people that know that their number one job is to create happiness and spread hospitality. Everybody's number one job this year will be to create happiness and spread hospitality. We're desperate. Serving those 5 fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk, those are tasks. So it's the right thing to do, and we'll do it better, stronger together. So here are 2 ladies that came up to the popcorn popper stand. They're both together. They both had cameras. So she would take a picture, then the other one would take a picture. So they kept taking the pictures of just one. The popcorn seller was standing there, and he said to them, he thought to himself, what should I do? Every other popcorn seller in America would have stood at their popcorn seller. They don't pay me to do anything but sell popcorn. But he is in Disney World. So his number one job is what? Create happiness and spread hospitality. So what do you think he did? He went up to them and he said, he's from the South, so we know how to suck up. So he went up to them and said, ma'am, may I help you, please? He's going to help them, please. And they said, how can you help us? And he said, may I take those pictures for you? He went click, click, click. Then he said, thank you for allowing me to create a magical moment for you. Please know that it was great fun taking these pictures of you. And he walked back to his popcorn stand. Took him less than 30 seconds. And so he did what he was supposed to do. His number one job was training kicked in. What was he supposed to do? Create happiness and spread hospitality. Did he do his job? Yes, he created hospitality and did that job. He created a magical moment. How many magical moments to create a magical experience? 3. Why do you want to create a magical experience? Because when you create a magical experience, people will come back with joy in their hearts. Even though you stood in line again and again and again at Disneyland, because you had a magical experience, you will go back and you will pay all that money all over again. So let's see what happened. Did he create 3 magical moments? Yes, because he created 3 magical moments to create a magical experience. He asked if he could take their photo. He asked them. Then he told them that we could create a magical, he told them he was going to create a magical moment. Then he thanked them for letting him create the magical moment. And so in between, this is what happened. This is what the sister wrote back to Disneyland. To whom it may concern, while my sister and I were at Disneyland, a popcorn seller took our picture. The popcorn seller didn't know that my sister and I had not spoken in 20 years. Then I learned she was facing cancer treatment. We made amends by coming to your park. The only picture, the enclosed picture, is the only picture taken of us in 20 years. I'm so grateful that the popcorn popper took the time to take our picture. I will be indebted for having this last memory. Sincerely yours. What happened to the sister? She passed away, didn't she? Did that popcorn popper know that those sisters hadn't spoken to each other? Did they know that she had cancer? He didn't know any of that. He did what he was trained to do. Number one job, not popping popcorn, that's a task. Not selling popcorn, that's a task. Not boxing popcorn, that's a task. His number one job was to create happiness and spread hospitality. By taking that one moment in time, he changed the life of these 2 women. Do you think they'll go back to Disneyland? You bet they will. Because they're going back for the popcorn. The one sister's going back because of the way she was treated. Magical moments and create magical experiences. You must create magical moments for each other this year to create magical experiences for the children, because you won't give away what you don't have. Create magical happiness, and all you have to do is, what is our number one job this year? Create happiness and spread hospitality. That's what we're going to do as our number one, and that's what we're going to experience, because our cafeteria should be known as the happiest place on earth. And you have to understand, we're saving America one 5-star meal at a time, so it should be the happiest place on earth, because it's the right thing to do, and we're better, stronger together. How many magical moments does it take to create a magical experience? 3 magical moments, and he did it all by just saying, he asked her, he thanked him, and then he did what he did. And so how-to training teaches tasks. I'm not here to teach you tasks. You know how to do that. I'm here to touch your heart, because if I can touch your heart, I can motivate you to get the job done differently than you've ever done it before in the middle of a pandemic, because you are the most important people in this thing. And so, I don't know if I have that. Let me just go. You have to know how to share the big picture. Our big picture is simple. The Healthy Hunger Kids Act of 2010, Mrs. Obama was the face of that. And she was just trying to help us to improve nutrition and reduce childhood obesity by serving fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions. We're the chosen ones. No one else in America is doing this, only us. And why are we so important? Because we're in the middle of a worldwide epidemic. Obesity is growing around the world, and the wellness of our world is at stake. The United States of America is causing this obesity with our fast food, plain and simple. Too fat for 15, obesity rates have doubled in children and tripled in adolescents in the last 2 decades. Break your heart. These kids, look at these children. They're there. 1 out of every 5 American kids are hungry. Food insecurity. This is outrageous. In the richest country in the world, outrageous. We should all be furious over this. And the only ones that have the solution, I'm looking at you. School nutrition is the only one on the planet that has that's right. We're the only ones on the planet that have the solution. And that's eating 5-star meals, fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk. The rest of the diets that the kids are eating at home are sad. They're overfed and undernourished because of the fast foods. Here's what we're doing. And here's us in California. 55% of our state, and this was a few years ago, is below, needs help. 55% of your state. In 1985, the whole United States of America was fit. Excuse me. By the time we got to 2000, there was only 1 state in the United States of America that wasn't just fit. The rest of the United States of America was obese. Obese means when you're 20 to 30 pounds over what you should be. All of America, to include Alaska, is obese. Colorado was the only state that was just 10%. The rest of the country was well over 20%. That was in 2000. This is 2008, less than 8 years later. There's not a state in the United States that is under 30 to 35% of the entire state is obese. This is sad. And we're the only ones in America that have the solution, the only ones. By the end of this decade, over half of the United States of America will have diabetes. And these pharmaceutical companies are salivating because they've made the price of pharmaceuticals go through the ceiling. And we're the only ones holding the line. The only ones. This is why you're so important. This is why I get crazy, because I want you to understand how important you are. That took, look at, this is 2008, just 2 years it took us to even get fatter than that. This is the entire United States of America. Not one state in the United States of America that's not obese. And so what I'm saying to you, I'm begging you to understand how important you are. You are the only solution, and you have to model what you want. I started running when I was 60-something. When I was 62, I think I started that. There I am. And that's how many races I've run, 75 races. So I'm begging you to understand. Notre Dame came looking for me. No, that is not. That I just did that for funsies. But I do run the races. So you've got to understand, we got to figure this out. We got to do why we're in business, to create happiness and spread hospitality so these kids will eat our foods, which is fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk. And we've got to do it. What do you do for a living? You create happiness and spread hospitality. When people ask you in the Walmart, what do? You don't go, no, I'm just a lunch lady. Don't you ever say that again. You flush that right out. You say, I create happiness and spread hospitality in the cleanest, safest kitchen in America. I serve fruits, vegetables, whole grain, protein, and milk in the exact right proportions, and I'm saving America one 5-star meal at a time. They will go, say what? They will treat you and look at you very different. And why do I love you so much? We're getting to that. Here's my, who do you think this is? That's my mama. Yes, it is. She's gone now, but why are we in business? And we're in business to create happiness and spread hospitality. Why do I love y'all so much? Because my mama was a lunchroom lady. That's why. My mama was a lunchroom lady. I love my mama. Yes, I did. And she was a lunch lady. And so why do I love her so much? She's gone now, but she did everything. My mama was the 8 kids in her family. They didn't have a lot of money. And she was number 2. And she came down with polio. When in the year was 1919, she came down with polio. They didn't have a clue what to do with those kids with polio, so they put them in the hospital. They operated. My mother had 25 operations on her leg before she was 12 years old, and she never gave up because she just prayed every day that one day she'd be able to walk like her brothers and sisters. And sure enough, the doctor came in and said, we're going to try one last time. We're going to put your foot in a walking up position and you'll be able to walk. You'll have a limp the rest of your life and you'll be in pain, but you'll be able to walk. And my mother, instead of complaining, took his face and said, if you can just make me walk like my brothers and sisters, that's all I ask. And the doctor started to cry because she was such a sweet-natured kid. And sure enough, he did put her leg in the walking position and she finally could walk. She came from Boston, Massachusetts. And so when she got home from the hospital, after 12 years in and out of the hospital, her mother, she said, Ma, please let me, the first time I have my brand new shoes on, let me walk down and show my Aunt Celia my new shoes. My grandmother said, now, Marie, you've been in the hospital and you don't know the kids can be cruel. And my mother said, no, Ma, I want to go. Let me treat me just like the other kids. Let me walk down. My mother knew, my grandmother was terrified to let her go. But she said, okay, I'm going to call your aunt and tell her you're coming down and she'll watch for you. And she said, but you wave up to me. So my mother waved up to my grandmother till she was out of sight. And then all of a sudden the bullies came out and they gathered around my mother and they called her lame. They called her second-class citizen. They called her despicable names. And she was so terrified, she tried to run, but she had on new shoes and she couldn't run in the first place. So she fell down. And when she fell down, the kids picked up stones and they started to stone my mother, throwing rocks and stones at her. If my aunt had come out and shooed the kids away, my mother would have been hurt terribly. And I can guarantee you, they say sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. It's exactly the opposite. You get over the physical pain really quickly. But that mental pain of being a second-class citizen, you're no good, nobody's ever going to want you, it sticks. And you hear me clearly. It just takes one person to believe in you, one person to believe in you, to change the whole trajectory, the whole path of your life. Thank you, God, my mother had her mother and father. And they said to her, Marie, you're as good as anyone else, and you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. And they told it to her again and again and again because they knew she'd have to put up with so many kids calling her names. And she grew up and she had 3 kids. And my mother was a brilliant cook. Her mother was a cook. Her father was a chef on a whaling ship, and she was a brilliant cook. So you can imagine what she wanted to be. She thought the greatest job on the planet was to get to be a cook in school nutrition. And she got the job. And the first day she limped into that kitchen, it was unbelievable. You ever meet somebody that was so kind, so nice, so loving that they lit the place up? That's what my mother did. She lit the place up. And she was a brilliant cook. And so, but she didn't like negativity. So she had an Agnes in her kitchen. You ever have one of these? They come in every single day and they want to complain and tell you everything that's wrong. So my mother would be cooking and in would come Agnes. And my mother would say to her, she'd come in and she'd say, Agnes, stop. She said, my mother told me that you can only make it when you cook, when you want to make your food taste better, make it with love. And every day when you come in and you say those things, it's messing up my food. And so if you don't mind, you can't come into my kitchen if you're going to say that kind of stuff. And so she goes, oh, okay, Marie. And so she wanted to come visit my mother so much. So she would come to the door and she'd start in, and my mother would put her hand up and she'd say, remember, only love. Because if I want to make my food with love, because it will taste better. If I let your words get on my food, it's going to make my food taste bitter. And I won't serve bitter food to these children. So it took Agnes a few whiles, and before she finally got that she couldn't come into the kitchen unless she said only kind words. You have a choice here to make your kitchens any way you want them, however you want to go back to school this year. This is what's so brilliant. And so you have to understand, my mother knew her number one job wasn't just to make and serve the food. She knew that she wanted to create happy, magical experience for each other, which would create magical experiences for the kids. She always said, we make our food and serve our food with love. She had on the kitchen, in her kitchen, this is what it said. She created happiness spread up and down, but she had a big sign on her kitchen that said, I make my food taste better because I cook with love. I make the students better because I serve with love. And I make myself better because I radiate love. Let me read it to you again. I make the food taste better because I cook with love. I make the students better because I serve with love. And I make myself better because I radiate love. This is your time. I adored my mother, and I am so grateful she was my mother. And she did a brilliant job of telling us that we could do and be whatever we wanted. But she knew her number one job was to create happiness and spread hospitality. This is your time to create, take action, and create magic every day this year. And so I want you to know that the people of your staff, they wanted you to be happy and end happy because they want you to create happiness and spread hospitality. So I want you to know that Julie and the team, they're not singers, they're not dancers, but I guarantee you they've spent the whole summer trying to give you the best experience that they could. And so we made this little movie and they did a brilliant job. So I want you to watch it, and they want you to know to create happiness and spread hospitality. Give it up for here's the next group. Here they come.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, cause I'm happy. Love alone if you feel like a room without a roof. Cause I'm happy. Love alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Love alone if you know what happiness is. You are happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want.
Give it up for your team. Give it up for your team. Yay! So they want you to create happiness and spread hospitality, create magic every single day, thrive and bring the hope to your community, choose excitement over fear, make a decision that you're saving America one 5-star meal at a time to inspire success and improve tomorrow. You do it all together, better, stronger together, because it's the right thing to do. It has been my joy and honor to be able to speak to you today. I'm so grateful that you invited me. Thank you. I know you're going to have a great, successful year. God bless each and every one of you. Stay safe and know that I'm there with you in heart. Mwah. Thank you for a wonderful session. Yay!
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Yay! I don't know how to thank you enough. That was amazing, and I know that everyone got something out of that. So thank you, MGM. I'm so glad we finally got you. It really has been a long time I've tried to get you here, so thank you so much. And I can't believe you went all that time with no break. That was awesome. That was great. All right. Can everybody unmute themselves and say thank you? It's hard, I'm sure, as a presenter not to hear the feedback, so I'd love you to hear the thank yous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's great to hear you. I love seeing those towels. That made it very good. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we are.
Well, again, I don't know how to thank you. It was uplifting and heart-wrenching and a roller coaster of emotion the whole time. Thank you so much. It was nice. It was very nice. So I think we're ready to start on Monday, and we just have to hit the ground running. We're good at what we do. We can make this happen. And